You are now tuned in to the Lineman Lounge, the world's thickest sports podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Evo.
Come on, down, bitches. This is the Lineman Lounge. I am Mike. That is Evo. It is Sunday. We are ready to make some picks, and we got to turn this week around because Week 16 has got off to a fucking terrible start, but we're going to turn that frown upside down today. My man, Evo, I know you've had a long week. We got a lot of football. We've had a lot of football throughout the week. College football playoff last night. A lot of games, a lot of prospects we were able to watch. A lot of football today. A lot of important games, not so important games. Some division rivalries. But my man, how you doing? How was the week? Are you ready for today?
I am ready for today. I'm ready for this week to be fucking over. I am exhausted. I'm tired. Went to the ladies' holiday Christmas work party last night, which started at Punchy's. Went to the doctor's house, big fancy, not mansion, but close enough. And then back finishing at Punchy's bar here in town. Just a lot of drinks. I'm tired. I didn't drink that much because I'm a responsible adult. Obviously. And I've got to make sure that I can get home and get the woman home. But dude, motherfucker of a week, I tell you what. And I'm scared. You brought up the picks. They've not been good this week. We're 0 for 3.
0 for 3, both of us. We went both Broncos +3, Texans +3.5, Steelers +7, taking points, and we got shut out to start the week, bro.
Look, I'm worried that the heater is over because I've been on a little bit of a heater. The record's been looking good, and I'm worried that it just fucking the bottom fell out. So we got to have some good picks today, man. But yeah, dude, I am tired. It has been a long week dealing with the crazy bitches, which I won't get into, but also fucking new cat Remy. Take a couple minutes here to go into it.
Yeah,
we thought we lost him earlier in the week.
No, we didn't.
We thought he was dead.
Shout out Remy.
He is still alive, doing well. But so it's Christmas time, hanging up Christmas stuff around the house. So I've got one of those big, I don't know if it's aluminum or steel ladders or whatever that folds. Ladders leaning up against a wall. And it's like 11:30 at night on Monday. Mm-hmm. And I just hear some ding, 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 like someone's fucking in the room next to my bedroom. I look over at Hannah. She goes, Remy's probably climbing the ladder. Now, mind you, we thought that he might have an ear infection or something like that for like a week or two. So go to the vet, get some solution to clean his ear out. We've been doing that, right? Well, anyways, fast forward to Monday. We hear him climbing the ladder, right? And then all of a sudden we hear this gigantic fucking crash. I run out there. I see pictures off the wall, ladder on the ground, and I hear claws running. But they just keep running. I was like, well, where else is he running to? He's next to the ladder, having a seizure, basically.
Oh shit!
Running on his side. Sounds like he had crushed a lung or something like that, because it is just slow, shallow gurgles for breath. Had knocked himself out. When he came to, he was doing almost just like a UFC fighter or Tua Tagovailoa when they get knocked out. Slow gurgle breath, like stuck claws, like he got knocked the fuck out. But Hannah's freaking out. She's like, what do we do? There's no ER vet here in town. The closest one's like an hour and a half away. And I'm thinking, like, military brain clicks in, and I'm like, I've got trauma kit in my truck still from the military. I can, if he's got a punctured lung or something like that, I don't know how to do this on a cat, but I know how to do it on a human. Like,
you were gonna give him a fucking.
I'm starting to like, dude. When adrenaline kicks in, my head goes from like rational to straight just
work
robot mode.
Well, yep.
And so I'm trauma assessing this cat, and I'm thinking, he ain't gonna make it. Like, if he's got a punctured lung, he ain't gonna make it. I'm looking for aerated blood from the mouth and everything, and like I'm checking all of the shit. And she's like, "What do we do?" And I'm telling her, I was like in the moment, not being able to find out what's wrong, but hearing that gurgly breath, I tell her, "You just need to hold him because this might be it." Like, and I'm starting to run through everything else. He comes to, gurgly breath goes away after about a half an hour. Put him in his little cat carrier because he's trying to hide, which is another scary sign because pets will try to go hide when they're about to die. Yeah. Right? Put him in there, and he's just doing circles in this cat carrier, walking in circles with a limp because he fucked himself up, right?
Yeah.
Cat's third eyelid, which is down in here, is halfway over one of his eyes. So his eyes look fucking weird.
Damn.
And so he's all fucked up, right? And I'm thinking, okay, gurgly breath and stuff went away. He's probably got contusions over his body from hitting the fucking ground from a high height and probably a concussion. All right. Fast forward, we end up taking him to the ER. He did have some sort of a head neck injury.
Oh, no.
Logical issue, which is the good news. But when he hit his head, his eardrum was already weakened because of the solution wound and the infection, right? So he ruptured his fucking eardrum.
Oh, Remy.
The infection that was in the ear, then systemic, spread through the body because it got in through the ear. He was almost septic, super dehydrated, super white blood cell count. He like was just lethargic, looked like he was retarded for like 24 hours. And the swelling in the ear was putting pressure on nerves, which was fucking his eye up and everything. So dude took a fucking header, ruptured his eardrum, and fucked his whole body up and almost killed himself. He was super close to being septic. So now he's on like 7 medications. You can assume what a vet ER bill is like.
Yeah. No, I know exactly what they're like.
Because they want to scan every fucking thing on him with every fucking piece of equipment. He hasn't meowed since, which is breaking my heart because he was.
That is the saddest line I think has ever been spoken on this podcast. He hasn't meowed since.
He hasn't meowed since. He looks. This is the thing: is like Hannah and I are trying to come up with. Is he ever going to be the same? Because
obviously, yeah,
he's become more exploratory the past couple of days. But other than that, he just kind of wants to sit under the bed, eat his food, take his medicine, and go back under the bed. But he was extremely talkative beforehand. He was always up in our faces beforehand, wanting to hang out. Now he's migrated to just sitting at our back door and looking out the window. Sadly. And when he looks at us, there's no sparkle in his eye anymore. He looks at us like,
Remy.
you assholes. Like, it almost feels like when he came to from the concussion and saw both of us over top of him, that he didn't remember what went on and thought that we beat the living fuck out of him. And now we're still torturing him by shooting shots in his mouth and medication and this and that and the other.
Oh, man.
It's sad, but he's alive. Thank God.
Shout out to Remy for still being here.
Yeah.
No long nap.
Little bastard fucking put us through the ringer this week. And I will update everybody when we get those meows back, because they're going to come. I'm going to love the fuck out of him to the point that he has to meow.
Get that meow back.
It has been a rough week, to say the least, dealing with all this bullshit. But look, work for me is pretty much done. Like, the students have gone away. It's easy time right now. I'm assuming end bad there is what you meant to say. Yeah.
Very permanently. Yeah. Badly.
I thought it was going to go that way too, which, we've had him for a month and a half. I'm connected, not as connected, but Hannah's really fucking connected with this cat. So it was just going to be terrible right before Christmas, right before the boys get out here where we're telling them about the cat and everything that they're excited for. So yeah, it was a scary moment. But look, Remy fought through. We're having a bad week right now. We're gonna fucking fight through. Even if it takes if we have to take a lot of shots in the mouth, we'll fucking do it. We'll be meowing by the end of this week as well. All right.
For sure.
So, you ready to get into the show? Talk some actual sports, man. And not just pussy.
But we'll stop talking about pussy. We'll wait until we get a little later on before we start talking about Penix. But with that, let's talk about some college football, because there was a shitload of college football on yesterday. And as a avid Ohio State fan, I just want to say suck it to all the Tennessee Volunteer fans who thought they were going to come into Columbus and take over the shoe. I don't care how many tickets you bought. You drove a long ways to watch your team just get absolutely shit stomped. Some of the best of the SEC. SEC fans have been bitching all week about why did Indiana get in? Well, because Indiana had a pretty good year. One of the best teams that did make it into the playoffs from the SEC, Tennessee, got absolutely fucking steamrolled by the fourth team in the Big Ten. So I'm very happy with the way the game turned out. There was a lot of big-time plays. There's a lot of fucking running backs that are coming out in this draft. They're going to make huge impact plays at the next level. We saw Travion Henderson have a monster game. He's going to be one of those guys. College football yesterday. Did you see anything that stood out to you? Names that stood out? We had a couple guys like Drew Aller. Did maybe pop off the screen a little bit?
So he decided to go back to college, right?
I didn't see that. Did he?
I believe he said that he's going to be staying another year, which I thought was a good choice for him. I didn't get to watch much of the games yesterday. You texted me early in the morning. You're like, hey, we got Saturday football games today. I was like, I didn't fucking know that. I'm at the gym getting my pump in before I know that I'm going to have a long ass day of dealing with copious amounts of fucking women all laughing their asses off at these holiday parties. And then I passively got to see some stuff here and there at the bar. So I didn't get to see a whole lot of the game. I haven't had a chance to really review it. I saw the scores. That's about it.
Okay. So I just looked it up. Drew Aller is returning to Penn State. So Drew Aller, not an option, will be coming out next year. Kid from Medina here in Ohio. So a lot of Browns fans are enamored with him. Okay. So I loved a couple of these guys. Man, the quarterback class is going to be awfully shaky, though. Like, you got some guys that could eventually be really good prospects, but Quinn Ewers is a quarterback that could have been the number one pick coming into the year, didn't play very well this year, is kind of falling back. Conversations about maybe not even coming out. This quarterback class, while there's a great group of running backs, I'm excited to see these running backs at the next level. Quarterbacks becoming a big concern, especially for those quarterback needy teams like my Browns and plenty of others.
Yeah. Ewers, we followed him on the show pretty much from the get-go, starting off with the sweet hairdo, Ohio State, transferring. He just never really seemed to hit that potential. And I don't know if it's a good choice to stay in college or not for him at this point, because if you are, I mean, let's put it bluntly, if you're a lesser quarterback prospect, which he seems to be right now, coming out in a bad quarterback class usually means that, less of a selection, easier chance to get picked and make a roster.
Overdrafted.
And then if you go to a class with a lot of or more good quarterbacks, because next year looks to be better, not necessarily fantastic at this point, but better than this year, you get dropped in the draft a little bit at that point, unless you go back to college and you kind of light it up. So it'll be an interesting decision to see what he does there.
I agree. Anything else college football wise? Moving on to the next round, Ohio State will take on Oregon in a rematch. I'm pumped for.
Yeah, that's if you're not Oregon or Michigan this year, apparently you're not getting one on Ohio State. So that will be I'm assuming you're optimistic about this game.
Listen, we played really good football against Tennessee. If we can come out and play a similar brand of football, yeah, well, I feel very confident. Oregon is going to score more points and they'll play a little bit better defense. I would expect a closer game against Oregon. But what we can't ever do is have another game plan like what we tried to put together against Michigan and absolutely fail. Like, not utilize the weapons that we have all over the fucking field. That was taken care of last night. The ball was distributed beautifully by Will Howard, who played probably his best game of his career last night. So that's what, if we get a game like that, yeah, we could beat Oregon. We can beat any team in the country, no matter if they're completely healthy or not. When we play like that, for sure.
And Ryan Day watch as of right now?
Ryan Day, safe until embarrassing loss or a natty. If he gets that natty, he's probably getting an extension or some shit. Like,
all right. I saw somewhere
in this world of the playoff, man, the regular season is going to kind of mean less, and that sucks because that was one of the great things about college football was that the regular season meant a shitload. You get one loss, you might not make the playoffs. You're not playing in whatever bowl game, so that going away kind of stinks. But I do love the playoff format. More teams need to be better. I think we still have we might have too many teams in this thing because some of these games are obviously blowouts. But I do love having the playoff.
Yeah. Hey, look, I saw something out there where Ryan Day is still being put up for college coach of the year. And I was like, that seems kind of wild to me.
I don't think anybody's doing less with more than Ryan Day, but
yeah, that's normally the opposite statement of what you hear doing.
Right, for the coach of the year.
Yeah. So interesting conversation there. We'll continue to keep an eye on that and update everyone as things either evolve or
there's no way Ryan Day should win coach of the year.
Yeah, for sure. All right, buddy. Well, with that, are you ready to jump into this week's games?
Yeah, we got 13 games to go over today. And then we'll be back Tuesday. We got to make sure on Tuesday that we do all of the games that are coming up because we're going to have Christmas games, Thursday game, a Saturday game. We screwed up this last week. We did not realize the Saturday game, so we did not get to come on the show and talk about our analysis. I will pop the picks up very, very quickly just because we got to show them in full transparency. Mm-hmm. Maybe. Why is that? That is the wrong thing. There's the one I want. Let's try that again. There we go. So not good. That puts me right back at 500. So to start the show on Sunday, again, I am back at 500. I feel like that's the way it's been over the last couple weeks. Mm-hmm. Let's do this, bro. Let's make some money. Let's get these people some picks. Let's improve on this fucking 0-3 start. All
righty. First game, brother. Giants, Falcons, and a number that I'm honestly not super sure about at this point. Giants going into Atlanta versus the big, fat, floppy Penix starting at quarterback. news there. Sounds like Adam Schefter reporting that Kirk Cousins is going to be released at the end of the year before the $10 million workout bonus or whatever it is, or roster bonuses going to be applied. Sounds like Kirk Cousins is going to be a free agent because he does have that no trade clause. They probably aren't going to be able to work something out before the bonuses hit. So Kirk Cousins' time in Atlanta more than likely over unless something terrible happens to the fat floppy Penix before the end of the year, which we know his injury history, knock on wood with that one. But right now, FanDuel, the number is Falcons minus 9.5, minus 105 odds, minus 115 odds if you want to give those points to the Giants. I've seen this number move, and it continues to move in favor of dropping more and more points for the Falcons. Like, people are expecting the Falcons to get more here. I'm not positive. Are you tracking who the starting quarterback is going to be for the Giants? Because I keep seeing more Tim Boyle stuff flying around. And I'm wondering if they're in full tank, that's the guy that needs to be out there.
Yeah, so I know that Tommy is going to be healthy. He's cleared protocol, but I think he's acting as the backup. I don't know who they named as the starter. It might be Tim Boyle. And if that's the case, I mean, it would make sense why this spread continues to grow and grow and grow. I mean, we're talking about Michael Penix starting his very first NFL game at what might be the biggest number ever, like minus 9.5 point favorite. I feel like that might be, and I don't know. I'm trying to find it out. So if anybody can find this data, I feel like that's the biggest point favorite for the first start of a player's career at quarterback. Minus 9.5 in your first start is a huge fucking ask.
Yeah.
But if the Giants are playing Tim Boyle.
So just looked it up here. As of 3 days ago, Giants are turning back to Drew Lock as QB1. You have DeVito backing him up, and then Tim Boyle as your reserve emergency quarterback. Okay. It doesn't mean that Tim Boyle won't get in there, though, because we all know what's going on with New York. They are in a heated competition right now for the number 1 overall pick with the Las Vegas Raiders. It's must-see TV to see who's going to get that number 1 overall pick. Except for the Giants feel like they're trying to do it more than the Raiders. When you put a Tim Boyle out there, again, this is a guy who played like 24 college NFL starts and had 1 touchdown and like 19 interceptions, and somehow has had a 6-year NFL career.
I have never understood how this works. This is nepotism at like the highest order somehow.
He's got to be like really good in that quarterback room.
He's like somebody's nephew. That's what happened. And
it's wild. Either way, look, the reports from Atlanta was that, there's been more and more reduction in faith in Kirk Cousins, which is what led to Penix being put in addition to the fact that apparently Penix has looked extremely good in practice, out-competing Kirk Cousins, and it's kind of become undeniable to a point that, even after a win, they needed to bench Kirk Cousins and see what this guy has, because their offense has just been on a downward trend for weeks now, with Kirk Cousins playing as the starter. And they're still kind of neck and neck for that division title with the Bucs. So they need some sort of a boost. You could see that rookie quarterback boost. And quite honestly, he just has the better arm right now. He's got better mobility. There's probably not a whole lot other than between the years that Michael Penix doesn't have going for him over Kirk Cousins. That being said, you brought it up. This is a big spread for a first game for a rookie quarterback. But look, it's happening in Atlanta versus a bad, beat-up team that is trying to lose. If there is going to be a spot for success with Michael Penix in his first game, this would be it. So I don't know if you could have picked much of a better scenario for Michael Penix to start. I still hate the 9.5 here.
Yeah,
I fucking hate it. I feel like earlier when I looked at this, it was like 6.5.
Well, when I made the bet this morning, it was at 9.5. And that's the way I'm going, man. I cannot believe I'm gonna have a rookie quarterback drop 9.5, but I really like Michael Penix. We were high on Michael Penix, and the Falcons organization is obviously seeing something that says that he is playing better than Kirk Cousins. They can do more with him than they can with Kirk Cousins. He is more mobile. He has a big, big fucking arm. He is basically everything that Kirk Cousins isn't. And I kind of feel like that will be very beneficial to that offense. They need to stretch the field. They have a ton of explosive weapons, and they just haven't been able to utilize them. They also don't use a ton of play action, which is where Kirk is like his best. So it makes 100% sense.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to drop the points because I think this team gets way better, and we know the Giants are not trying to win. They have no desire to win. I don't know. Tim Boyle's not playing for a job if he makes it out there. Drew Lock might be playing for a job, but we've seen Drew Lock play for his job several times and come up real fucking short. I would expect that's going to happen again. Tommy DeVito is a cool story, but it is nothing more than a nice quarterback. He's like a meme quarterback. It's like these meme tokens. Watch out for them Hawk Tua coins, bro. Like they'll take your money, but they're not going to provide you a lot.
Yeah, I think sidebar here. I think Tommy DeVito has a career after football in the like Lifetime real or the Netflix adaptation of Luigi Mangione. I think that he could play that role perfect. Sidebar over. Look, this is a tough one because I think that the Falcons defense has been playing better as of late, specifically their secondary. I mean, the secondary was the better part of their defense anyways, but they've been playing a little bit better here. Giants, again, offense doesn't have a lot to play for, but we know guys like Tyrone Tracy, Malik Neighbors, Wan'Dale Robinson, they can actually still compete, and they can compete with lesser quarterback play out there. But the defense is just kind of rattled all over the place. No Dexter Lawrence. It's tough for me to drop these points here, but I kind of think that we have to drop the 9.5 here for the Falcons because, again, the Giants, while they're trying, there's people on that roster that are and on that team in general, Dable, trying to keep their job and stay competitive. The overall thought is we need to lose these games in order to get the best possible chance of getting a Cam Ward or Shadur Sanders. So do I think that it could be held within the number? I do, but there could be a significant bump here from Penix being out there. I'll drop the 9.5 with you. I don't like it. Like the plums are starting to feel like we should lean towards the Giants here, but I'll go with the Falcons in this one, and I'll be rooting for Penix.
Yeah, so the Vegas giving you minus 105 odds at 9.5. The Vegas was really good this week with their lines because a lot of these games are super, super hard to pick, man. I hated picking a lot of these games. However, let's move on to the next one. Where are we rolling to, brother?
Next up, we have the Tennessee. Excuse me. Sorry. We're going to jump to your Cleveland Browns.
Okay, let's do it.
Going to Cincinnati because I originally started off on the ESPN list, and I shouldn't do that.
Cool.
That's a bad Evo.
Bad.
But like I said, I'm going through it this week. I'm tired. Hang with me, people.
Remy got you running through just a whole emotional range, bro.
Yes, there's been so much emotional damage this week, but we're trying to fix it here with a good week of bets, fixing their past 3 games.
That's right.
All right. Your Brownies going into Cincinnati.
Anytime you're feeling down, gamble.
Yeah, that's going to help. Your Browns going into Cincinnati, playing Burrow. Burrow is dropping 9.5 points in this one as well. Minus 114 odds, or you can get those points for minus 105 odds for your Browns. I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this game because you've been going with the Browns regardless, it seems, the past couple of weeks. Yeah. Like you're clawing for some fucking happiness here. What are your thoughts going up against this Cincinnati team? I know that when Cincinnati goes into Cleveland, you feel very confident about that typically.
Yeah.
How about when the Browns go to Cincinnati?
I don't feel nearly as confident. The Browns are not great down there. The Browns are not great in general this year. They're actually really fucking terrible. I'm going to bring in some of the stuff from the last game that we just talked about. I do not want Kirk Cousins to come up here when he is released, when he is inevitably released for the whatever $1 million it is. Because Kirk Cousins is all the worst things that our quarterback room already is. Weak arm, immobile, Like every single one of the guys has some sort of problem that Kirk Cousins has, but Kirk Cousins has this package altogether of all the things that are bad about what's wrong with our quarterback room. So no, I don't want to fucking bring him here.
TV timeout.
Oh, all right, go ahead.
He's a pretty nice guy. You don't have to worry about sex allegations, okay?
Okay, so neither does Jameis. Jameis is a really nice guy.
Jameis has other allegations. Okay, that's
okay. You know what? Kirk is a really nice guy. I guess that is a valid fucking point. I guess
as far as like, if you're looking for a politician, you've got a guy that's clean.
I want to win football games, though, man. That's what I care about. That's why I don't want fucking Kirk Cousins. Yeah. And the Browns are in a bad spot. They have to do something. Otherwise, we're going to lose one of the best players that's ever been drafted by this franchise, Myles Garrett. Very strong comments by Myles Garrett this week. Comes out, makes a statement that he wants to know what the fuck the plan is. In a lot more words and in a lot nicer, but I'm not Myles Garrett. I can say whatever the fuck I want because I won't get fined for it. The room's got to be fucking fixed. It's bad. It's completely terrible. Deshaun Watson is a big part of the reason that it is fucking terrible. The scheme is bad. The offensive coordinator should be fired. Dorsey came in and was going to fix this whole thing. None of that worked. None of this bullshit worked at all. Myles Garrett wants to go back to what fucking Kevin Stefanski was doing originally. Give me some tight ends. Let's control the ball. Let's run the fucking ball and play good defense. You can win games in the NFL that way. However, that is not the way that Deshaun Watson has won games in the NFL. I believe this was a direct shot at the offensive room, specifically the quarterback room, and guys like Deshaun Watson and Jameis Winston. Because Jameis, for all the fun that was had with Jameis, didn't produce what was needed, didn't produce wins. And I got to tell you, and I kind of said this before, if Jameis doesn't win, Jameis will wear thin on your fucking patience. Like all that rah shit's cool when we're winning. It's not nearly as much fun when you're not. So we got to do something. I don't like the Browns today, but I'm going to take them plus 9.5. And I expect us to lose. I expect us to lose by 8-9 points, somewhere right in that range. There's no fucking way I think we win this game.
Well, look, no Cincinnati Bengals not eliminated as of this point. There's technically a path, even though they're 6-8, to getting into the playoffs in this one. I don't like them as a playoff team. I don't think that that's going to occur. I generally agree with you here. I expect them to probably win this game, but I actually like the way that your defense stacks up against this Bengals offense. And for what it's worth, I like the way that your offense kind of stacks up against this Bengals defense, because this Bengals defense is hot garbage, right? You guys are rolling with DTR out there. New starting quarterback. We've seen him out there a little bit here and there. We've seen a little bit better play from the run game, especially when you count that gigantic fucking run that Ford had last week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking the Browns plus the 9.5. I would have taken your Browns at plus 3.5. That's the way I feel about this game. I think that there is an outside chance that you guys actually nip this team, the Bengals, in Cincinnati. There is a chance.
Oh, we could eliminate the fucking Bengals from playoff contention today in Cincinnati. Whoo!
There's a chance that I think that you guys might actually get the dub with a late end of game field goal or something like that here. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility, which would be a really big kick in the pants for this Bengals team in that offense. That kind of sign seals delivers. Lou Anarumo being fired, that, T. Higgins, bye-bye. It's going to be some big changes there in Cincinnati if you guys get this win, and I don't think that it's out of the question. I wouldn't put it below a 15% chance at this point. So with that in mind, I'm taking your Browns plus the points here. Typically, that doesn't work well when I follow you on these picks with your brownies, but I'm going with the Browns in this one plus the points. And either we're going to go full tank this week or we're going to turn things around.
I don't want to be the Giants, bro.
Yeah, me either. No one wants to be full Giants right now.
No.
The way the Giants are playing to finish out this year, they're getting the Bo Nix Team Award of how they're running things. But we're not talking about the Giants anymore. We're actually going to move on to our next game. Arizona Cardinals at Carolina Panthers. Panthers getting 4.5 points at -108 odds. You could drop the points for the Cardinals at -112 odds. By the way, last week I was statty Stan, fucking stats all over the place. And
yeah, you were.
No time for it this week. I've been dealing with other bullshit. So we're going gut and plum picks here on a lot of this stuff. Just a little bit of logic, all right. So just keep that in mind if you're following our bets. It could probably sway you one way or the other. Either way, Cardinals going into Carolina, dropping the points here. That Carolina Panthers team that actually finally was favored in a game last week and ended up dropping it. They are coming back to earth a little bit. We've talked about this. Bryce Young is having a resurgence. His resurgence is bringing him back to
no, hold on. We're going to take a TV timeout right there. You can't have a resurgence if you've never had a surgence.
The surgence was first overall pick.
No, that's not. No, he has never played like he was capable of, like he has shown it all. Like this is the very first time he has shown capable play.
Yeah, and it is Andy Dalton mid-tier level, fringe starter type level.
But resurgence is a big fucking adjective for what Bryce Young is.
That is still good for Bryce Young, but the fact of the matter is this Carolina Panthers team is still bereft of talent on defense. They are really rough there. The offense, while it is getting better, it is still not great. You have Chuba Hubbard, you got Adam Thielen, you've got Bryce Young playing at a moderate level, but you're going up against this Cardinals team, which is that 500 team that you have to pay attention to. They will get you. They play competitive pretty much every game, but they also are going to be 500. You don't know if you're going to get a win out of them. In this one, I feel better about them getting a win because, look, people aren't going to be sleeping on the Panthers anymore. They know that the Panthers got some teeth to them, right?
Right.
So, look, I expect a really good game on the ground from this team. You'll see that in the Lineman Lounge parlay when we put it up for myself. I expect good things. I got a full Cardinals parlay this week on the Lineman Lounge parlay. I expect a really good game from James Conner specifically. But look, we need to see Kyler start to swing back to what he was doing a little bit earlier in the year. And 4.5 points, I'm willing to drop that here for the Cardinals. I think that they win by about 6. So I am dropping the points for Arizona in this one.
Okay. All right. I got to tell you, thank God that you went with Arizona because I was getting a little nervous that we were going to keep picking the same fucking teams. I'm on Carolina, bro. So they finally got smacked. They were having their fun. Oh, look at us. We're the favorites. And then they had their little dose of reality. Now they can go back to play in the role that they're supposed to play. That scrappy underdog, keeping games close. The Cardinals have kind of let me down a lot at times this year, especially when I go to pick them. I'm not going to do it again this week. I think they win this game for sure. But 4 and a hook, I mean, I could get a 28-24 game and still catch. That sounds pretty good to me. Very capable, very doable. Also, not Kyler weather. I'm going Carolina plus the points, man. Carolina plus 4.5.
All right. Speaking of weather, we're going to pull this up because weather is definitely a factor this week, at least in my game, for sure. It's going to be a factor here. Where are we at with the Carolina weather? 40 degrees, clear right now, 6 mile per hour winds, according to NFL weather reports. So
that's cold as fuck for Kyler.
It is. But he's a tiny package that is just keeping that heat.
You can't fit him in a hand warmer, though, Evo. Like
you almost could.
Almost.
Spicy Mike would know a little bit about that. Thanks for the tip there on the weather, Mike, and keeping me honest and looking at it. I need to do that. All righty. So we are not together on this pick. I'm good with it. Next up, Philadelphia Eagles going into Washington versus the Commanders. Eagles dropping 4.5 points at -105 odds. You can give the points to the home team for -115 odds. Eagles on a roll, Mike. They actually looked like a full, complete team last week. Where are you going in this one?
Yeah, and I think they continue that. I believe that narrative is going to be done. They're going to continue to play well. I'm a big fan of this Commanders team, but we know that they're gettable. We've seen it a couple of times this year. They're very, very good. They played this Eagles team tough in the year, earlier in the year, if I'm not mistaken. So I think that this game, while it will be fun, while there could be a lot of exciting plays, I think the Eagles will end up kind of running away with this thing. Where was that? I know they played. Thought they played.
They did about 6
Yeah, they
weeks
won.
ago, 26-18.
26.
Eagles won that game.
Yeah, so I think we can see something very, very similar to that. I have no reason to doubt that the Eagles can't cover 4.5. They've done that before. Commanders, fun team, really exciting. Jaden Daniels, stud, will be a stud for a long time. Just not worth the bet today. Or this week, I should say.
Alrighty. Yeah, and look, I'm kind of the same way. Look, after the Lions went down last week, you've got a lot of dogs right behind them that have started salivating hard because that 1 seed is open for grabs. You have so many injuries. Again, week in and week out, we talk about this. So many injuries on this Lions team that it's going to be tough for them to not be taken down by attrition. And that means teams like the Eagles, who again put together a full game last week, they are in prime position to go there and take the 1 seed. The Vikings, my Vikings, if we win out, we get the 1 seed and the NFC North, right? Just strength of schedule and the teams that we played and everything, it works out like that, which is nice to have that available to us. But look, the Eagles, the talent that they have on that team, the way they've been playing, and the Commanders have kind of dropped back down to earth a little bit. They're still good, but they're not the hot team like they were earlier in Jesus Christ. Remy's in here.
Hey, Remy.
He's been in here with me the whole time, apparently. What a guy.
Oh, yeah.
What do you want?
Is he gonna make it?
He says drop the points for the Eagles.
Okay,
So we're dropping the points here for the Eagles. Look, they are on a roll. This is a team that has their playoff spot locked up. They pretty much have their division locked up, but they want that 1 seed. And it makes sense they want that 1 seed. So they still have a lot to play for. Commanders still got a lot to play for, but they're playing for that wild card spot, right? So Eagles drop the 4.5 here.
All right. So I don't know what list we're going off of, but I'm going to preface the next game. We're going to go with Titans at the Colts. Colts favored in this one, -3.5, over under 42.5. Not at even odds though, -115 on the over at 42.5, under -105. This could be an interesting game. Running game is going to be massively important with this, especially with the wild quarterback play, inconsistent quarterback play on both sides. Mason Rudolph should be getting the start. Evo, where you at, bro?
That's the thing that hurts me here is Mason Rudolph is playing, because we've seen Mason Rudolph start a game and he put up decent statistics, wasn't absolutely terrible, but he has that ceiling that you are going to bang your head on for the most part. Whereas Will Levis is wild. You could see some crazy throws, but I refresh my memory. I don't know that we've seen a really good Will Levis game at all this year.
This year, I'm not sure that we have, and if we have, I don't remember it. I mean, they've won some games. They won some good games where they scored 32, 35-ish points. But I'm not sure Will Levis has really popped at any point. Not like last year. First game of the season, he goes out there, throws 4 tuds and almost 3 bills. Like that was a coming out party, we thought, and then it was just gone. That was never recreated.
Yeah, it's I don't know that it's a good thing or bad thing to have Will Levis out there, and it's not a good or bad thing to have Mason Rudolph out there, other than maybe a little bit more consistent football, which is just going to be mediocre. It's tough for me to take these Titans right now, plus the points. The Colts, we have our thoughts on Anthony Richardson, right? He is not so good at throwing the football to players. He can throw the football, but throwing to players, it's a question. But I like this team better. They've shown a little bit of fight. I'll drop the points here for the Colts as well. This is a game that I'm not going to watch, not looking forward to. So I hate picking a number on this one, but Colts minus the points here. They're the better team.
Colts are the better team, in my opinion. I'm going Colts -3 as well. Will Levis not playing in this game. So you might get a little bit more steadiness out of Mason Rudolph. Maybe able to keep it close. This is one of those games that's tough. The 3 and the hook I don't love. But I think that Tony Pollard has had a really nice year, and the Colts' run defense is not great. So that's one of those things, man, that can slow this thing down. I'm gonna take the Colts. I'm gonna drop the points because I think there could be a huge day running the ball for Jonathan Taylor. But Tony Pollard, man, if they can grind this thing out, it's going to be close. This is one of those games that is really, really hard for me to call. But I'm going with you. I'm going Colts -3.5.
All righty. Next up, Detroit Lions at Chicago today. Bears getting 6.5 points, -104 odds, or you can drop those points for the Lions at -118 odds. Look, we just got done talking about this Lions and how injured they are. No David Montgomery, though he maybe this MCL or PCL, whatever injury is, he might be coming back.
I know that it sucks that David Montgomery's out. It really does. I'm excited to see Jahmyr Gibbs as the lead back.
Yeah,
but you've been talking about for a long time, might get a shot today. Sione Vaki is going to be possibly in the rotation, spelling Jahmyr Gibbs. Two-way player in college, rookie this year. I'm interested to see if he gets a chance to provide a spark at all, because the loss of David Montgomery is huge. Jahmyr Gibbs is going to need a break. They got to find somebody who is not just a warm body, because that offense was kind of predicated on two backs.
Yeah, this whole offense was black and blue. We're going to run it down your throats, and then we can obviously throw it whenever we need to. They did the week prior, and it didn't work out. I mean, it kept them very close, but the turnovers hurt them here. I think this Lions team, the offense is still extremely good, even with David Montgomery out. While that is a big loss, it doesn't make me fade the offense that much. It's the defense, man. Like, they went down 2 cornerbacks, and their starting defensive tackle, Lee McNeil, was fantastic in the interior of that line. The defense is just so hurt. I don't know what they're going to do. Have you heard the Calais Campbell rumors with this Lions team?
Calais Campbell?
Yes. He's currently...
That would make a shitload of sense. Calais Campbell was just released.
No, he's still on the Dolphins.
Oh, yeah. I thought he was asked for a release, right? To go...
He wants to play for a team that has a playoff chance, a championship chance, because this is the twilight of his career, correct? The Dolphins, the rumor, the rumblings is that the Dolphins are going to grant him this wish if and when they become eliminated from playoff contention, and that the most likely landing spot would be in Detroit.
There is no other landing spot. That is the landing spot for Calais Campbell.
Correct. So keep an eye out for that. I don't think you can probably find a line on that right now to bet it. But Calais Campbell to the Detroit Lions.
That's for sure happening if they release him.
Right. Unless the Dolphins go on a tear here. But that being said, this Detroit Lions team right now, defensively, absolutely beat the fuck up. I don't care how much positive motivation that you have from your head coach and your squad. It is just the attrition is so tough to overcome here. That being said, I expect Detroit to win. But look, when the Bears and Lions played each other most recently, it was a close game. It's a divisional game. The Bears have a little bit of bite to them, even though that they've been on this losing tear. They're playing at home. The weather out there in Chicago is going to be very cold. We got 28 degrees, mostly cloudy, 8 mile per hour wind. I think that they can keep this within the number. I'm doing Bears plus the points here because divisional game, I think it'll be kept close, but the Lions are a better team. Their offense should be able to stack up against anybody, any defense, and be able to get the W. So, look, if the Lions want to go out here and lose this one, I'm all ears because that's good for my Vikings, right?
Of
but
course.
I expect the Lions to win, but I'm going to take the Bears plus the points because there's not a 0 chance that the Bears don't surprise them here with all these injuries.
Right. So Dan Campbell don't give a fuck about no injuries. He doesn't give a fuck about.
He probably should, though.
He doesn't give a shit about nothing. It fucking give me 48 motherfuckers on a Sunday, and we're gonna go win a football game. That's gonna happen again today. Because the Bears fucking suck, dude. They're bad. They have fucked up Caleb Williams. I love his talent. His arm talent's great. He is in a bad spot. I don't think that the Lions defense has to be great because while Caleb Williams is very physically talented, I think he is mentally fucked up right now because of what that offense has looked like over the last several weeks. His big name receivers are very much just big names right now. He holds the ball too long. They are super, super bad. I am dropping the points. I still think the Lions are a very big contender to make a long run. Obviously, the injuries hurt. Every injury that this team fucking gets is one more dagger to their Super Bowl chances. I don't think that matters today. Dan Campbell will find a way there, and it's going to be shit weather. Like that sounds like a Dan Campbell thing. He's going to be out. He's probably going to go sliding through the mud at some point. That's just how he is. It's annoying at times, but that's just how he is. Yeah, I'm off the Bears. I'm off the Bears entirely until they figure out a whole new offensive system and bring in a whole new set of coaches. I feel bad for Caleb because he has to finish this thing out. Doesn't have a fucking choice. But every week is detrimental to him. Every single week with his coaching staff is more and more detrimental.
All righty. Next up, LA Rams going out to New York to play the Jets. Rams dropping 3 points here. Jets getting 3 at minus 115 odds. You can drop those points for the Rams at minus 105 odds. And have you watched any of Aaron Rodgers' Netflix special show?
No, I'm not. I don't listen. I used to do mushrooms. I don't need to watch somebody get high. I've done dumb shit myself. I don't give a fuck about Aaron Rodgers. I don't care about him sounding like an asshole on TV. I know that every time he's on TV, he's going to do that. I don't pay him any mind because it's not fucking important to me. Aaron Rodgers, to me, is supposed to be entertainment. He is a professional football player. He is not my fucking friend, and he seems like a douchebag. So, no, I don't need to get into the personal life of Aaron Rodgers and watch him throw his guts up on ayahuasca. I'm not interested.
And look, I will not watch the show. I have no want at all to watch that show. I would have to lose some tremendous bets or something like that to watch it for Netflix to get any sort of a ratings boost at all from me watching. It's just not, even if it's, 1/1,000,000th of a fucking percentile, I ain't fucking doing it. From those that I have talked to who have watched it, who are less of haters of Aaron Rodgers, but I think most people in general right now are just kind of think that, like you said, put it best, he's a douchebag. They said it is an extremely riveting watch to just see how he is such a egomaniac, such a narcissist, how he takes anything. It's like the extreme side of Michael Jordan, where anything that someone says, he's going to turn that into an affront against him and try to use that as motivation. The problem is that he's not necessarily using it as motivation. He just sounds like a bitch who wants to have everyone against him. The world's against me, and I'm always right. The stuff that I've heard about how, with the Achilles, they're following him last year with the Achilles and him wanting to come back to practice. And you're having top surgeons and stuff like that, where he's like, hey, I want to start going back to practice next week. What do we need to do to make that happen? And you have all these fantastic surgeons, because of course he's going to have the best doctors working on him, saying, look, you are recovering fantastic. One of the best we've seen. You're getting the stem cells and all that extra fucking regenerative shit in your ankle. It is going fantastic. There's no need.
Ray.
There's no need for you to go back and practice right now. You are older. You need to rest, get healthy, so that way you're good for the next season. Professional medical opinion, it is not worth it at all. And for him to be like, you aren't hearing me. Everyone in this room, listen. I am practicing next week. What do I need to do to make that happen?
Yeah.
Fuck the experts. I'm Aaron Rodgers. I know better than you. That sort of shit.
I hired my own doctors to do the research for me in this fucking printout I have here.
So that's the sort of shit that you can get if you want to watch that. That's the sort of quarterback that the Jets have. He also had more comments this week about, I would love to mentor a new young quarterback as long as they're sitting behind me.
No, Aaron Rodgers wants to get fucking paid because Aaron cares about Aaron.
Yeah. Also, just the Athletic going hard at the Jets this past week or two with their reporting about Woody Johnson and how him and his kids and family are just
talk
dog
about
shit.
Woody Johnson, bro.
Just,
what? Thank you, you fucking idiot. You are so stupid. That might be worse than the Johnny Manziel homeless guy told Jimmy Haslam to draft Johnny. You looked at his Madden rating and said, no, I don't want Jerry Jeudy. How goddamn stupid. Like, it's a video game. And Madden's really not even that good. Like, the ratings are always shit. It doesn't make any fucking sense ever. Sorry, Chad. I love what you do. You are one of the best of all time, but the ratings adjuster needs to adjust some more fucking ratings because it doesn't make a lot of sense ever. But hey, appreciate Woody Johnson saying, no, I don't want Jerry Jeudy because he's our new number one and looks fucking great when he has a guy that will actually push the ball down the field.
Well, the one that got me was Mike White, who we were both a fan of when he was playing for the Jets. Was the best Jets quarterback playing with broken ribs. And for Mike White to be headed from the locker room into the showers and Woody Johnson to be yelling at him, you fucking suck. When he's the only positive.
He was their best quarterback during that time.
That's nice coming from your fucking owner. All the bad PR aside, it shouldn't make a difference in this game. But look, I like this Rams team. I like this Rams team a lot better. I'm dropping the fucking 3 points. Let's be fucking real here. This Jets team is dog shit. They've had close games with teams that they shouldn't have close games with. I don't give a fuck what Aaron Rodgers' stats are this year. The eye test tells you that he's fucking washed. Rams -3 in this one. Weather-wise, it is going to be a cold one. All right. If there's going to be something that's going to mess things up here,
Stafford in the cold.
It's 26 degrees, clear, 10-mile-per-hour winds expected there in New York. But I'm going for this Rams team. Fucking dog walk this Jets team. I hope they beat them by at least 10.
The Jets are bad. The Rams are getting better. Still also fighting for playoff spot. I'm also dropping the points. I hope we don't get a push here. I hope the Rams beat the shit out of the Jets. I'm so tired of the Aaron Rodgers thing, dude. Every fucking week it is something new, and it's something about something from fucking years ago. He just won't let this shit go. Like, you know what? It's fun to make a joke about COVID. That's fine. It's cool. But this motherfucker's entire personality is built around him talking about COVID and the science that he apparently knows. It's annoying as shit.
Yeah. It'll be great when he's finally done with football and no one wants him anymore. I'm sure that he will
every fucking week.
I don't need that. And look, I think it's fair to say,
but I'm tired of fucking Aaron.
We love the Pat McAfee show. They don't push it back on him at all. They'll push back on guests. They won't push back on him at all because, if you push back at all, you are now fucking public enemy number one to Aaron Rodgers. You've slighted the king. Fucking egotistical.
I like the way you put that.
But that's it for our morning slate of games here, Mike.
All right. So the morning slate is done. Some agreements, mostly agreements. I don't know, man. We both need a bounce back. So it's probably a good thing we're agreeing. I think but both on the Falcons -9.5, both on the Browns +9.5. I'm on Carolina plus the 4.5. You're taking the Cardinals minus the 4.5. Both on the Eagles, both on the Colts. I'm going Lions. You're going Bears. Both on the Rams. That is the morning slate for today. Some decent football games. Obviously, I'm most excited for my Browns game. For you, most exciting game outside of the Browns? I mean, I know you vicariously root for the Browns through me.
Yeah, look, I'm excited to see what Penix can do in this morning slate. And also, I'm going to be watching this NFC North matchup here between the Bears and the Lions just to see could the Lions possibly get one here or Bears get one on the Lions or not. Are the Bears just completely donezo and how that Lions defense is going to perform.
It's going to be an interesting morning slate for sure. But to everybody tuning in now, thank you guys very much. Get those bets in right now because we're getting ready to roll into the second half of the show. If you could, please take a second, like, share, and subscribe. Head on over to our YouTube page. You can interact with our show anywhere down below. Call line is open. That's 216-800-7223. But we are trying to make that push to 1,000 subscribers. So no matter where you're watching, Facebook, X, or YouTube, we would appreciate it if you would stop at that YouTube page, hit that subscribe button. It'll cost you nothing but just a little bit of time. Now that I've taken up enough of your time, let's head into that next fucking game. Evo, where are we starting the morning at or the afternoon at?
So we're starting the afternoon with my game, and it quite possibly could be the best game of the afternoon. Both teams' playoff aspirations, obviously my Vikings are in, but the Seahawks are still fighting it out, trying to win their division there. Right now, they are tied with the Rams at 8-6 in the NFC West, but the Rams have that tiebreaker. They are currently in the lead for that division. That being said, Vikings going into Seattle. Seattle's gaining 2.5 points at -110 odds. The Vikings are dropping the 2.5 at -110. This game is going to be heavily predicated on weather. 97% chance of showers, definite rain, 50 degrees, 13-mile-per-hour winds from the southeast. Weather is going to play a factor in this game. Look, I love what I've seen from my Vikings, but this game actually scares me, not because we're going into Seattle, not because I'm scared of the Seattle Seahawks in general. They're not a terrible team, but they're kind of that average team. Look, if you look at the NFL statistics, team statistics, they rank around 14th or 15th in almost every category. They are literally an average NFL team, and in their division, that's got them tied for first, right? Yep. Here's the problem. Geno Smith plays really bad at home. Like, really bad. We're talking Baker Mayfield was bad at home last year. Geno plays bad at home. Way more interceptions than touchdowns. He's also extremely bad in general this season. Turnover-worthy plays when pressured. So if the Vikings can get home on Geno, which I don't know if they're going to necessarily be able to or need to in this game, they should be able to force some turnovers. The problem is this weather. It is going to be a ground-predicated game. Kenneth Walker going to be back. Zach Charbonnet's been playing pretty decent. So they've got a two-headed backfield there. Meanwhile, the Vikings run game, it has tapered off towards the second part of the year, though we saw when they stuck with the run in their game last week, things were good. Aaron Jones, I trust. I like him. The fumble issues seem to have subsided, knock on wood. And then they got Cam Akers, who's also looked good coming in there. We get Stephon Gilmore back for when the pass actually does have to happen. But I just don't know how this Vikings team is going to perform in a weather game like this. We have not seen it yet. We've seen a little bit when they were playing the Jets in Europe. There was a little bit of sprinkles and stuff like that. But we really haven't seen this Vikings team play in bad weather where it's cold, rainy, anything like that, where we've been forced to only run the ball. They're not going to be forced to only run the ball today, but there's going to be a lot more emphasis on the run game. Right now, over under 42.5 in this game, I would be hitting the under because I expect both teams to be running the ball a lot here. I like my defense. I like the way that we stack up against the run, even though it's been worse the past couple weeks. But this game still scares me, man. This line has moved a little bit closer Previously, it was 3.5
this
points.
morning.
Yeah, and it was 3.5 earlier in the week as we've been watching it. Now we're at 2.5. I was going to take the 3.5 for the Seahawks, but now that it's gotten closer, I'm going to go ahead, drop the 2.5 for my Vikings here. I think that we're a better squad, better overall. I like the way that Sam Darnold's been playing better than what Gino's been playing. Don't get me wrong, Seattle's got good weapons. McDonald's done good things with that defense out there in Seattle. But after Seattle kind of got dog walked by the Packers, you got Gino going out there with less than 100% of a knee. He's already bad when he's put under pressure. If he drops back at all, the pressure is going to come from this Vikings team. So if they're forced in a situation where they have to pass, I like the way that we match up against them. I'm going to go with my Vikings drop the points here.
Okay. I'm also going to go Vikings minus the 2.5. Now, you brought up the obviously the run game will be important in a weather game. It's always important in a weather game. You said that, the Seahawks have this kind of like two-headed backfield, but they don't. And that's why I don't worry about their running game, because they have not ever, to my recollection, found a way to effectively use Walker and Charbonnet in the same game. It is almost always one or the other. It is not like a Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery situation where they are both getting touches. They are both actively always a part of the offense. That does not happen in Seattle. It is either Kenneth Walker gets touches or Zach Charbonnet gets touches. And Charbonnet typically only gets them when Kenneth is out. So I'm not worried about them having more juice necessarily, because you guys have Cam Akers too. You guys will utilize your backs in the exact same way. Sam Darnold is going to be the deciding factor. You guys have some nice options short underneath. I like Hawkinson. I like Addison out of the slot. That's kind of where that game is going to be won, in my opinion. Down, underneath, dump off, run after the catch, and then the running game. So I'm going Vikings minus 2.5 as well. I like you guys there. I'm glad it's not more. I'm glad it's not 3.5 like it was earlier in the week. You guys typically play people close, so 2.5. I'll take a field goal here to win it. You can easily win by more just because Gino is volatile as ever this year.
Yeah. All right, next up, New England Patriots going into Buffalo. Huge spread here. Buffalo dropping 14.5 points at minus 102 odds, or you can give the points to the Patriots for minus 120 odds. Look, if this is a money line game, it's the easiest pick you got out there at minus 1,350 odds for Buffalo. But it's not for us. We are picking the spread here. Look, Buffalo has played 2 lights out games in a row. 1 a loss, 1 a win. But they've been putting up over 40 points in both those games. You've seen the full slew of what Josh Allen can do and why he is up for that MVP and probably the front runner for MVP right now. I don't think they're going to have to do that versus this Patriots team, right? It's a middling Patriots team who's got some positivity looking forward in the future with their quarterback, Drake May. I know he's a part of your Lineman Lounge parlay today.
Yes.
But they aren't going to have to do what they did the past 2 weeks. And I don't know that you should do what you did the past 2 weeks. There's no need to go out here and absolutely throttle the Patriots. You got to be able to take a breather, Dan Campbell. Your team is going to get run into the dirt if you're just fucking redlining the whole time. I 100% Bills win this game.
Yeah.
But I don't know that it's going to be by this gigantic margin. I'm taking the Patriots plus the points, the 14.5. That's more than 2 scores. I think that, the Bills are more than a 2-score better than this Patriots team, but they don't need to play like that. And I think that McDermott will be smart enough to say, yeah, we can go out here, we can get to our lead, and then we're going to run a tempo game, a lot of James Cook, a lot of Ty Johnson, a lot of Ray Davis. They're going to mix it up there. You're not going to see the wild statistics, I don't think, from Josh Allen because it's not going to be necessary. So I'm taking the Patriots plus the points here. Not at all a sign of faith in this Patriots team to possibly win or anything like that. It's just I think that this is going to be the tempo of the game. It's going to be closer to that 30-16 type of game here, which is right around that 14.5 points, enough for the Patriots to get that cover.
Yeah, so I'm also going Patriots plus the points. I do have Drake May as part of my Lineman Lounge parlay. I'm kind of playing a storyline here, if I'm being honest. This whole Josh Allen is the MVP for sure. It looks like it right now. But one of the guys that Drake May has kind of been compared to is a little bit of Josh Allen. I'm kind of seeing that maybe we're going to get a little bit of Drake May shows a little bit of that flair, a little bit of that I'm competing against a guy like me, and goes out there and balls out a little bit. I don't know that they're not going to win. It's not that I don't know that they're going to win. They're probably not going to win. But I think he puts up some good yards, maybe some garbage time yards, maybe a garbage time touchdown, keeps this thing within 2 scores. The 14.5 is too much. I mean, it's a division rivalry, sure. The Patriots are trash. But I got a hunch. I think this is like a Drake May kind of steps his game up going against another big dog guy that he's compared to. I'm going Patriots plus 14.5 in a game the Patriots lose. But Drake May statistically has a very nice day.
All righty. Next up, San Fran 49ers going into Miami. Miami's getting 1.5 here at minus 110 odds. You can drop the 1.5 for San Fran for the same, minus 110. Mike, thoughts on this one? Dolphins aren't out. San Fran, they're not out either, technically. They're at 6-8. And again, Rams and Seahawks are leading that division at 8-6. The NFC West is kind of up for grabs. So it's not out of the question that the 49ers could seek their way back in to either win the division or get a wild card spot here. But the Dolphins are not out either. They're second in their division at 6-8 as well. They're not going to catch up with the Bills, but also hunting for a wild card spot. So we got 2 hungry dogs here looking to get the bone, if you will. But yeah. I think that of these 2 teams, the Dolphins is the one that actually has a real shot.
So I would agree.
Not that I think either of them are good chances.
If it weren't for what just happened with the Chargers knocking off the Broncos, that kind of helps separate that group a little bit. I thought the Chargers might fall off. That was a huge win for them because now that slides them up to the 6th seed. Broncos fall down to the 7th seed. Is it possible that the Dolphins could maybe come back and get back there? Yeah, sure, I guess. I'm not really thinking that's going to be the case, but I don't know that really is going to matter today. I think right now that the Dolphins are playing better. The 49ers have been up, down all year. They're wildly inconsistent. So Dolphins at home getting points. I'll take that all day. So yeah, Dolphins plus 1.5.
Yeah, this spread was a little bit bigger earlier in the week. I believe it was 2.5 points for the Dolphins. I forgot to feel the same way. I'll take the Dolphins home dog. They have a better shot of getting in the playoffs. So yeah, I don't like this game. This could be a pretty evenly matched game with both teams having the issues that they have. Dolphins plus the points for me. Don't feel great about it. Next up, Jacksonville Jaguars going into Vegas versus these tanking Raiders. However, Raiders are favored in this one, minus 2.5 points, minus 110 odds. Dolphins getting 2.5 behind Mac Jones at minus 110 odds as well. A game that's probably not going to be fun for any fan base to watch unless you are really into disaster shows and tanks. Sincere McCormick, man, he is on the IR, done for the year. He got a little bit too close to the sun and flamed out. That being said,
why are they favored in this game?
Because they're playing the Jaguars.
Yeah,
teams suck. Like you're getting the 2 points for playing at home. That's all I can guess here. I'm taking the Jags plus the points here just because I think the Raiders are a bad team. They're also in that tank mode. They're trying to get that.
They're trying to lose.
Desmond Ridder, I believe, again, starting at quarterback for the Raiders. So they don't have a big boost there. You've got Brock Bowers. That's
it now.
That's it. And I guess that is good for the Raiders. All right. So That puts you 2.5 points ahead of your opponent. But I'm going to take the Jaguars in this one. I do think that it's possible that the Raiders actually win this game because it's a coin flip as to who's going to play better in this game. Both rosters are pretty rough right now. Both head coaches on the hot seat. Both teams starting guys who shouldn't be starting at quarterback. So it's just a rough game. Sorry if this is the game that you end up watching this week for all the fans out there. I am going Jaguars plus the points.
We're going. The Raiders want to lose. They want Shadur Sanders. Why would I drop points when I know this team wants to lose? I'm just going to use straight logic here and take the Jags plus 2.5 points.
All righty. Next up, Tampa Bay Buccaneers going to Dallas Cowboys plus 3.5 points, minus 104 odds, or you can drop those points for the Bucks at minus 118 odds. Cowboys have shown a little bit of life. The run game has been going again. It's been pretty consistent there. Buccaneers also showing life. Good games from Bucky Irving. Baker Mayfield, I believe, won NFC Offensive Player of the Week last week with his performance. So look, the Bucks are turning it on a little bit when they need to in order to keep that division. That's why you see the big, fat, floppy Penix going in for the Falcons. Bucks are a better team this game. Cowboys don't play good at home. Like, there's some things going for the Bucks here and why they're 3.5 points ahead. I'm interested to see what your thoughts are on this one.
For me, man, I'm riding Baker and the Bucks. Baker's playing like an absolute stud. And here's the thing: they are very, very close in this division. They have got to continue to win. The change at quarterback with the Falcons, if it goes well, they're right on your heels. You don't have to worry about Kirk Cousins fading away and failing at the end. You might have a young dude chasing you, trying to make a name for himself. So I feel like this is kind of a must win for the Bucks, because if the Falcons go out and do what we think they're going to do, this gets a lot more interesting down the stretch. I don't think Baker's going to let that happen. The Cowboys aren't great. I'm dropping the points for the Bucks minus 3.5.
Yeah, I'm doing the same here. Bucks are a better team than the Cowboys. I don't like the spread. I personally don't, because I feel like Baker still has that volatility. We see what can happen from the pass rush. We know Michael Parsons is going to be out there doing his thing. Yeah, that's I'm going with the team that I think is going to win here because I don't really have a line on the spread. So I'm going Bucks in this one, dropping the points.
All right. And that's going to take us to our last game, Monday night. Another huge spread game with a team that I know that you love. Saints going up to Green Bay in Lambeau. Packers favored minus 14.5 at minus 102 odds. Big spread, tough odds. Over under 42.5. I feel like if we're going to hit that over, the Packers are going to have to score a lot of damn points. Evo, where are you at on this?
So Spencer Rattler expected to start in this game. Yeah. I said earlier on in the year I expected him to start. I didn't expect it to be under these pretenses necessarily. I expected him to just kind of start to outperform a poorly performing Derek Carr. Took Derek Carr's injury for him to get in there, and even then, he wasn't the first guy up. It was Hayner first. Saints quarterback coach Janoko taking his quarterbacks into the freezer at the facilities in New Orleans to practice play calls to get ready for a cold weather game in this one because they're not so used to it. Looking at the weather here, it is going to be 28 degrees or expected to be 28 degrees, mostly cloudy and 6 mile per hour wind. So it's just going to be a cold one. But either way, for a guy like Rattler starting in those sorts of conditions, it could be rough. Green Bay, they have been doing good. They've been kind of throttling teams that they should. Not playing too many close games. It is going to be a run game heavy type of situation for Green Bay as usual with these cold games. 14.5 is a lot. All right. But you are talking about a Saints team that is down, out, back with quarterbacks in. Not a whole lot of shine on this roster right now. The Vegas odds are telling you that you should probably take the Saints plus the points in this one because it is such a big spread, right? I'm going to have to go with the Packers and drop the points here. I don't think that the Saints are that good of a squad. I think that the Packers are also hungry to try to keep pace with the Vikings and Lions in the NFC North. They think that they got a shot. Look, as much as I hate the Packers and their head coach, they seem to be a second half of the year type of team where they figure things out and start to get a good game plan rolling. They're going to be trying to make this late season push into the playoffs and surprise everyone. So I don't think they're going to be turning off any of their guns. They're going to be going full bore. 14.5 they can cover here against the Saints team, so I'll drop the points.
I'm dropping the points as well. The Saints going up to Lambeau in December around Christmas time, good fucking luck. For indoor team that's not very good, you can look up any historical stat you want. I promise you it ain't good for the team that's from the South. Yeah. Going up to Lambeau in December is terrible. Packers roll minus. I'm dropping the points as well, man.
All righty. And that pretty much sums it up for us. Look, we got a couple Wednesday games that'll be happening, Thursday, Saturday games this next week. We're going to get all those in on our Tuesday show right before the holidays. Hold us to it, people, so that way we don't forget that we got a wild fucking week here for Christmas and the holidays coming up. But for this week, that wraps up our picks.
That does wrap the picks for this week. However, we have one final bet to go over. We have our Lineman Lounge parlays. So for me, listen, I think Michael Penix is going to show up today. I think he has been chomping at the bit. There were questions about why the hell he was drafted there after they did the Kirk Cousins thing. He's been biding this time. I think he goes out 220.5. We can go over that. Drake May, I'm telling you, playing that storyline, I think Drake May, at the very worst, gets a bunch of garbage time yards trying to battle back in this thing, showing Josh Allen that he might be somebody he's going to have to contend with in a few years in that division. And we know the injuries up there in Detroit are bad. If somebody's scoring a touchdown for Detroit, high goddamn probability Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be the one doing it. That'll get you plus 745 odds. I was surprised it went that high. Drake May pick is what got it up there. That's where the question mark is. I like it.
All righty. And so for me, despite what Spicy Mike said about it not being a Kyler weather game, I got Kyler Murray going over 254.5 total yards. That's on the ground and passing. I can see him easily being around that 220 mark passing wise, just as a regular NFL average game as a passer. And then he'll be able to get a little bit more on the ground because that Panthers team is rough on the defensive side of the ball. He should be able to scramble and get some extra yards. James Conner, anytime touchdown, and a James Conner 90 or more rushing yards, because I do expect it to be a heavy ground game for this Cardinals team in the cold weather, playing against a just decimated, terrible defense. So a lot of ground game from them. It's a full Cardinals parlay for me. That's 445 odds. And I guess the question mark there is going to be Kyler Murray. Can he perform in that cold weather? Spicy Mike says, I say,
I'm interested to see how it works, man. Listen, that Cardinals team is obviously better than that Carolina Panthers team. Can the Carolina Panthers bounce back after getting their ass beat again and start to play scrappy? And Kyler has to start winning games that he's supposed to win. Kyler has to start dominating games that he is supposed to win. That hasn't happened. Kyler's got a massive, massive contract, one of the biggest in the NFL. You want to see him go out there and lead his team to big-time victories, be the reason his team is winning. And it doesn't always feel like that out there in Arizona. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, my man, that's it. You got anything else before we wrap this thing up and enjoy the rest of this Sunday of football?
No, sir. I'm ready to hit the head, get down, watch some games, and prepare for the holidays.
All right. Well, guys, this is the Lineman Lounge. I am Mike. That is Evo. If you want to interact with our show, you can go anywhere down below. X, Facebook, TikTok, the call line, which I'm going to close because I got a call on it the other day, not during show hours, and the YouTube. Please head on over to our YouTube, like, share, and subscribe to that. It would mean a great deal to us. But guys, thank you for your time. Time is the most valuable thing that you have. So anytime you give some of it to us, we are forever grateful. With that, we are going to get the fuck out of here. We will be back Tuesday night with recaps and lots of bets and a little bit of Christmas cheer. But thank you very much. I'm Mike. That's Evo. This is the Lineman Lounge. See you.